the market's going to crash. And they're actually shocked in what I say. I turn around and tell them, like, who cares? And he's like, what? I'm like, who cares? Who cares if the market crashes? I can't predict the future, okay? I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. But what I can do is look at the past and seeing how the housing market, what happens to the housing market. So if you can't find that in your sofa, go get a house.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Sean Harper, who is a mortgage lender in the state of Arizona. Thank you for being here, Sean.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm excited to talk to you about, just educating people in a very interactive way. I know that that's your specialty.
Yes, definitely love educating people to give them the correct information. I think social media has really misled individuals to make bad decisions.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of people. Anyone with a phone can post something on social media. So I think there's a lot of bad information in a lot of different areas.
Absolutely. I can sit here and tell you in my career that, I've come to people like that place themselves in a bad financial situation. We've had to get them into the proper product to help them out. And then obviously asking where they obtain their information from, they tell me social media. And I just kind of look at them like, no, you shouldn't do that. So I reach out to us and ask us questions. We'll give you the right answer. And if we don't have it, we'll go get it.
Right. I mean, TikTok is not the place to be getting your financial information.
No, you wouldn't let them do heart surgery on you, would you?
Exactly.
Same thing in financial world. Social media is not your guru to financial, seek a professional such as myself or anybody in my industry.
Right. It's good advice. So tell us how you got into the lending business.
That's a funny story. It was an accident. Believe it or not, I used to work in the music industry for about a good 10 years. Yes, worked with major artists. And what happened was technology changed. This might be before people's times. It came out with Digio, which was a Pro Tools that you can buy at your house. Technology changed it, which reduced half the staffing in the industry. So I was forced to leave California and come back home. I went to a temp agency and started out as a temp in 2003 as a processor at a financial institute. Lo and behold, it's 2020. And I'm still in this industry. I just got so amazed about it and how many layers there were to it and how people look at it as black and white and they're ignoring the grays.
Yeah. What about it is really not only drew you into it, but is keeping you so motivated?
Absolutely. Just to educate people. One of the things I do, I see people in apartments, and I'm not your traditional home buying educator. I'm a bit different and direct because I'm not going to sit here and give you any fluff. I think it's, people are really quick to rent, but they're very hesitant to buy. And the benefits of property is being an owner. The benefit of having a property is turning around and utilizing the equity. And some people don't know what equity is, but you can utilize that. We've helped people retire utilizing their equity in their homes, and they retired with no bills. And they did that utilizing their home. We've helped people turn around and bounce back from divorces where half their assets were taken due to a divorce and basically utilize their home.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
We restructured it where, hey, you know what? We're going to help you retire. And when you retire, your house is going to be paid off. So I love it because there's no other product that can really do that. You can't buy a car and do that, but you can buy a house, and those are some of the elements that you can utilize it for to strengthen your financial future.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's hesitant to buy just because they think the market's going to get better?
Okay. I'm actually really, really happy you brought that up. One of the things I get at my classes and people tend to ask is, oh, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. And they're actually shocked in what I say. I turn around and tell them, like, who cares? And he's like, what? I'm like, who cares? Who cares if the market crashes? I can't predict the future, okay? I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. But what I can do is look at the past and see how the housing market, what happens to the housing market. And one of the things that's consistent about the housing market is every time there's a recession, the housing market comes back with a vengeance. So what I tell people is, get your umbrella out. Just make it through the storm. Once you make it through the storm, you're going to reap the rewards. I can't predict the future, but this is what the past shows every time there's a recession with the housing market. What happens to it? Comes back with the vengeance. I'll talk about COVID. COVID, housing prices went up 45%. Just to make it easy for numbers, let's say you had a $300,000 house. During COVID, you made an extra $300,000. So if you can't find that in your sofa, go get a house.
Yeah. I hear the two best times to buy property, the first is now and the second is 20 years ago.
Yes. And I said this before. One of the things I tell people, look up, do your homework, is you're going to see that corporations are alarmingly buying residential properties, okay? They're doing this on purpose. One of the most secure investments you can make. Although it moves like a roller coaster, this roller coaster goes up more than it goes down, okay? It's more secure. And what they also realize is they buy an abundance of properties in the same area. They can actually establish and control the value. So me stepping back as a corporation, if I was that corporation doing that, would I let my product go down in value? No. So I tell people, get into these houses. They're estimating 10% by 2030. Get into these houses and let these corporations drive up the value so you can make money for you. Why should you be left out in the rain?
So the corporations will own 10% of the market?
They've estimated by the time 2030 is here that they will own 10% of the market. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia, they own 7% of the market. Okay. It's crazy because they understand that there is money in it. There's so many platforms in which you can make money with your home, even if you didn't live in it. Okay. You got halfway homes. You got juvenile homes. You've got Section 8. You've got traveling nurses. You got Airbnb. You've got rentals. The list can go on and on. You can't do that with your car.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are where the grays are.
And then what would you say to somebody who just thinks they don't have enough money or thinks that they have to have a huge amount to get started?
Well, I'm going to sit here and say right now is probably one of the best times to buy a house because currently it's a buyer's market. And what I mean is, as a buyer, you have more control. You can sit here and say, hey, I want you to meet me on my closing costs. You either pay it all or pay it half. Hey, I want you to pay for my home warranty, or hey, I want to reduce the price. Don't be afraid to ask. The only thing they can say is no, but right now there's so many houses on the market. You could be like, okay, I'll go to the next one.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Right now, it is a buyer's market. So you can sit here. I will give you a story. Me and my ex are really still good friends. She recently bought a house. They were asking 500, and I said, "What's the address?" I looked at it, and I'm like, "Nope." She goes, "Why?" And I'm like, "It's been on the market for a year, and they reduce the price every month." I said, "You're going to offer 475." She's not going to do 475. I said, "She won't do 500." And I said, "Then you're going to tell her you want her to pay your closing, and you want her to pay your first year and your warranty." And she goes, "You think she'll do it?" I'm like, "If she does it, run with it. But most likely she's going to meet you halfway." I said, "So I'm pushing her that far because I want her to meet you halfway." And sure enough, she paid the first year warranty. Sure enough, she paid 50% of her closing costs, and she reduced the price to $480. So I saved my ex $12,500.
Wow,
So
that's
what I'm
pretty
trying to
good.
tell, and plus she has about 20 grand in equity. Okay. So I tell people, heck yeah, it's a perfect time. Stop worrying about the recession. I know it's a scary, the two most expensive things you're going to purchase in your life is your kids and buying a home. Now, where I work, I can help you get a home, but raising your kid, you're on your own. But those are costly purchases. I'm not saying you're purchasing your kid, but the bank of parents never goes away.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. So a kid is an investment that you'll always make, probably till the day you die.
Yeah.
At least you have a stop mark on a house.
Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of just first time home buyers, what are the lending options? Like, what are some of the good things you're seeing out there?
Well, this is what I will say, especially us. We're really we understand what's going on. We are focused and dedicated strictly just to Arizona and no other state. We're an Arizona financial institute dedicated to the people in the state of Arizona. We do have a program right now where we do offer 100% financing for first responders, for teachers, and administrations in the education. This means that they don't, when you say 100%, like, no one does that. Not just that, we're actually taking away what we call PMI, and that's called private mortgage insurance. People don't know about this, but as financial institutes, if you're not putting 20% down or more, you're going to pay PMI. For a house that's about 450, you're going to pay about 330 to 360 in PMI per month, right? With this particular program, there is no PMIs. So you're going to lose that 350, that $300 addition onto your house because we're going to remove that on this particular product. And I heard you say, people who don't have the money. Yes, this is costly and you have more of a negotiating room, but also I tell people seek out DPAs, which are down payment assistance programs, right? You want a DPA grant. You do not want a DPA loan. And the reason is a grant you don't have to pay back. And be careful about your DPA loans or your DPAs because some will actually add points on top of it. So ask the right questions to make sure you're not being penalized for getting a DPA. Sorry about
And
that.
how do people qualify for these?
I'll be honest, you can qualify. You can give us a holler at Credit US and submit an application. And let them know, like, hey, I want to see if there's any programs out there where I can get some assistance. Because there's several out there. And there's some that we can sit here and look at and be like, okay, you fall into the category. But there's others that we don't know until you actually have the application, until we submit it and see which ones you actually qualify for. And I tell people, don't be afraid to submit an application. When it comes to the real estate world, especially at Credit Union US, I don't believe there's a no. We might give you a not right now, but you're not going to get a no from us. And the reason I say that is because when we tell you these are your hurdles, we've given you the blueprint to correct that decision.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
So it's like, it's literally in your hands. Oh, all I have to do is this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, and you're golden. So if you get denied, I'm not going nowhere. I had a customer, I held their hand for 13 months. I checked on them once a month to see what they were doing to make sure we're in line. If they had any hiccups, we would look for alternatives, but we're different. I tell people, seek a credit union, and no disrespect to the banks, but there is a difference on how much you're going to get financially. The big banks are giving 3, 5, 7 grand. I have a down payment assistance program right now for what they call the low income, which I'm giving a max up to $32,000. Stay in the home 5 years, that 32,000 goes away. You never have to pay it back. Now there are qualifying incomes, that you're going to need, but I tell people, if you don't make a lot of money, this is the down payment assistance program for you.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it seems like, going to bank, you're a lot more limited. And your line of work is really interesting because I think people think of it as very cut and dry, but there's actually a lot of creativity involved and there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen.
Absolutely. And we had this discussion before where I talked about, like, my introduction to this industry was just like, oh, you could do that. It was an eye opener. I wanted to learn more. Literally, my first few years had a customer. They kept on coming back to me for year after year. So basically, when I started in the industry, I was doing what they call home equities. And I call them the Millers because I cannot remember their name. But I do remember the experience because it was something that stuck with me. And so they came in, they were doing an equity, and they turned around, they pulled the money out, and we got through the conversation like, what are you going to do with the equity? And they was like, oh, we're going to buy some land up north in Prescott. And so they bought like an acre and a quarter up north in Prescott. What they did, they paid down their equity aggressively. They didn't pay it all off by the time they came back to me, but they paid down a significant amount. Property value went up, so they had a lot more equity available. So they came back again, they pulled more equity out. And I'm like, what are you doing? So we're building a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house on that property up in Prescott. And I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. Okay. They called me back literally 3 years later. And I'm like, are you guys taking another equity? He says, no, we're just telling you it's been a great experience and buy. And I says, what do you mean? They said they sold their house. Yes, they only walked away with $65,000, but they were moving up north on an acre of land, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and they had no bills. Okay. They retired free and clear based on utilizing their equity in their home. Okay. I'll say it again. A car can't do that. A house can. There's more levels to it. Literally, I had a guy come to me a few weeks ago who went through a divorce. I tell a joke about it, but it's not funny, but it is because he had a 401k, which turned into a 200.5, and everybody's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, his wife took half. So it's not a 400, it's not 401k, period, no more. It's half of that. His plan to retire changed significantly because the finance that was supposed to be there, it wasn't going to be there anymore. The fact that he felt like his house was going to be paid off now was not going to be paid off. And so he was stressed. He was like, I don't want to be a greeter at a grocery store at 67, 70 years old. I asked for his paperwork, looked at his house, got his amortization, which lets you know how much you pay and how much it goes down. And the reason I did that, I was trying to look for a way that he can retire and pay his house. And this is what we came up with. We was like, you need to buy another house. And he's like, I need to buy another house. And I'm like, absolutely. Your house cannot be no more than $430,000. And he's like, why? And I'm like, explain to you later. He's like, what am I going to do about my other house? I says, you're going to rent it, Section 8 it, do something where someone else is making the payment, just not you. Okay. And I says, 2 years before you retire, you're going to sell that house and you're going to take those funds and you're going to allocate it to the house you're in. It should literally cover all of your mortgages left or majority of it. Okay. So now you don't really have a house payment and you only own one house. Although you're still working for 2 years, I said, you still want to make your house payment to yourself. He looked at me lost. And I said, explain why. You're going to retire. Your house is going to be paid 2 years before you retire. You're going to still make the payment. So then when you do retire, on top of your 401k, your pension, your house being paid off, you're going to have an extra $78,000. I said, that's just the ribbon on top of the present.
Yeah. If he had not talked to you, he would not have known that.
No. And like I said, everything happens for a reason. I met him through a mutual friend. And he was like, let me run something past you. And I was like, ooh, good question. I love the challenge. Get back to you in 24. Because obviously we don't always have the answers. And if we don't have them, we go get them. So we definitely search. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if it's not a good financial situation for you, we'll let you know. Well, I've done that before where people went and they wanted equities. And I'm like, this is not good for you. I'll explain to them why, even to the point like, this is how much interest you're going to obtain. Okay. Like, do I want the loan? Yes. But more so, I want you in a better financial situation more so than anything else, because you're not in a good financial situation. You're not good for yourself. You're not good for your family.
Right. Absolutely. And that's like the best way to have clients that want to keep coming back to you.
We hope so. It's a very competitive market. You have everybody like, I want to be your helper. I want to be your helper. I just think we're a bit different because we really do. It's funny because I had one guy help so well. He's like, you want to go to Vegas? And I'm like, no, I don't gamble. So I think it would be a waste of your time and money. You would be very disappointed if I went with you, but I do appreciate the offer. But believe it or not, because we go that extra mile, we get a lot of offers like that.
We'll find you and work with you.
Definitely want a woman, well, Credit Union West. Definitely give us a call. We're up on social media. You can also go to cuwest.org, go into the mortgage. I tell people, look, put in an application. Even if you don't know where you're at, entering an application is not a life or death situation. What it's doing is, if you don't know where it's at, when you enter application, you're turning on the lights. So you're going to know where you're at. You're going to know if you're there, or you're going to get the directions where to go to get there.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight. And I think people learned a lot.
Please do call us at Credit Union West. We're here to help.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. And everybody, thank you for listening. And we will see you back next time.
Thank you for having me, and have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.